this story is that maybe it could be happening right now. At the very tip of the South American continent, there is a tribe of Indians called Araucanos. These Indians, they were different from other Indians in many respects. One of them was that because they were in this small valley, isolated from the rest of the other tribes by the awesome heights of the Andes, they did not engage in the practice of war. They had no weapons. Also, they didn't have to work too hard to make a living. That was not what really set them apart from the rest of the tribes. It was their language. And the language itself was what caused an irreversible, a tremendous clash between these Indians and the Spanish conquistadors. They have a very simple, strong language. And the words are divided into mainly two groups. One of them, they are simple words to describe, let's say, walking, running, talking. And those words, those simple words, they only have one tense, those words. And the tense is something like our present, with a little bit of a future in it. So for example, when they would say, I run, or I'm going to go on a diet, that would mean that they would either run right now, or that they were about to run immediately. So you see, there's no relationship between that kind of present or small future to our future. When we say, I will go on a diet, or I will run, that could mean either that we're going to do it right now, that we might do it a little bit later, or maybe we will never do it. Those words, they did not create any problems with the conquistadors. It was the other set of words. And this one I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to say, because that's important. It's the key to the whole story. These other words, they were composed of two parts. The first part of the word would indicate approximately the subject to be discussed. And the second part of the word had a tense for which we have no equivalent. It would be something like this. For example, suppose they were trying to refer, by the way, they use these words to refer to the sun, death, love, and so on. The first part of the word, like I said, would give you an idea of the subject that they were discussing. So if they were going to refer to the sun, they would say, the first part would be something like fire. But then the second part, the one that would indicate the tense of the word, they would say, it would mean something like this. This fire has happened before, it's happening now, maybe it will happen later, but I'm powerless to tell you who is doing this, so who cares? Very complex tense. Funny things, that is true. Okay. So, one thing, they would use these words, or this particular tense, to refer to all the things I said before, but mainly they use that to refer to themselves. So, in that Indian tribe, you didn't have the equivalent of Joe or Peter. They had no names. So you could not go up to one of these Indians, the Araucanos, and say, what is your name? The guy would say, what? In other words, he would not answer, Mamaluca or Guacamole, which when you translate would be Joe or Peter. He could not say that. He had to say something like, Mila Patanuga. Now, Mila, the first part of the word would mean the area of the valley where his living process was initiated, where it started. You know, people call that birth. Okay. And then the second part, Chattanooga, that would mean, and this me has existed before, it's existing now, maybe it will exist later, but I am powerless to tell you who the hell is doing this me, so who cares? All right. Now, let's imagine a situation like this. So, here is the Spanish conquistador. Full armor. These guys would not take any kind of shit from anybody. So he was there, his troops right behind him, everybody ready to go. So he would be right here. Then in the middle, there would be this interpreter. The interpreter is funny, guys. He would be there, ready to translate from here to there. And then here will be the wise old man of the tribe. Okay? By the way, these wise old men, they had only one function in these tribes. They were not supposed to be like rulers, because they couldn't care less. These guys were happy groups, no problem. They were wise and they were old because they were old. And they were wise because everybody knew they were wise. So that's it. Why? Not because anybody elected them or anything. And then the main function of these wise old men was to keep the purity of their language. You know, like Webster. And then the wise old man, that's what he said. Who was in charge? I want to talk to him. So then here he was. Okay. And then this other guy, the Spanish conquistador, he said, I want you to translate this carefully to this guy over here. I want you to say to him that I am Don Rodrigo Salamanca de Villanueva, Commander-in-Chief of all the Majesty's armies. And I am here representing the most powerful nation in the world. And I am Don Rodrigo the Great. Translate that for him, so that he knows who I am. So then the interpreter, he knew the language. He would go, kind of Indians, little guys, medium, all kinds of age. time he would ask him, who are you? The Indian had to say, well, the first word would be Mila or whatever it was, rocks or trees or whatever happened to his mother, penguin. And then the second part was Patalunga. So then Don Rodrigo, many things were happening to Don Rodrigo, by the way. Let's not take Don Rodrigo lightly. But then he just told the troops, get the hell out of here. I don't understand these people. I mean, what the hell? So let's go, with the troops. And they said that he muttered to himself, shit, I don't know who these people are. They don't even know who they are. How can I communicate with these people if they don't know who they are? Shit, not even religion can do anything for these people. They're not even baptized. Forget them. Well, that's not the end of the story. This was a hell of a shock for Mr. Don Rodrigo. So, they walked, forced march, right through the valley. 2 hours. Everybody's sweating and cursing. Finally, he stopped. He wanted to rest his troops and himself. So, he let the troops rest over there. Then he walked away from them, to the side of a hill. He sat there, took off his helmet and his armor, sprawled on the ground. He could see the boundless new ocean, Pacific, at his feet, and the sun was setting. His feet were aching, and however, the forced march had created some kind of inner pulsating rhythm. And he felt kind of a lightness. A couple of butterflies. Many birds just flying. A lot of stars were showing up. As you know, looking into the center of the Milky Way there, you know that. A lot of stars in the southern hemisphere. And then all of a sudden, faintly, you began to hear the sound of flutes and drums coming from the valley. Very faintly at first. It was all accompanied by joyful chant, dancing. And it hit Don Rodrigo. He thought of the Indians, he thought of everything that had happened to them. And they claimed. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet and he said, they were right! I am not Don Rodrigo! I am Spain, Patatúa!